Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Recovery Classroom. My name is Drew. I am an alcoholic, and today I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I could not be any more grateful. I want to thank everybody for coming down to the Crosstalk meeting last night. If you've never been to a Crosstalk meeting and you're local to the Huntington, West Virginia area, come on down to 5747 East Pea Ridge Road in Huntington every Friday night at 7 o'clock for the quickest hour in recovery. It's always so much fun. I want to continue the conversation. The other day, we started talking about meetings, and we talked about what you want to look for in a meeting, what you want to try to get out of a meeting. Yesterday, we talked about one of the common pitfalls that I myself almost made, where you walk in a room and you think everybody gets along, everybody agrees, everybody believes and practices the same exact way, and you're living in this one big kumbaya family. That's just not the case. After all, we're a room full of drunks and drug addicts just trying to get better. You actually think that we're all going to agree on everything? Of course not. But you don't want to let that run you out of the room. Today I want to talk about the meeting format. I want to talk about kind of the structure of the meeting. And now when I talk about meetings, I'm talking about my own personal experience through AA. If you hear me say AA, just change that to CR or NA or SMART. They all work relatively the same, but I can only speak for me. I can only speak from what I understand through Alcoholics Anonymous. When I put up the meeting guide, when I was early in sobriety, it was like 30 days, less than 30 days. Put up the meeting guide, the app, the AA app that lists all the schedules. And I'd say, okay, there's a meeting tonight at 7 o'clock. And I click on that meeting and it'd say closed. I was like, well, shit, I can't go to the meeting, it's closed. What does that mean? Right? I remember thinking at one point, maybe it's closed, maybe they're booked, maybe it's something I have to call ahead of time and reserve a seat. I remember thinking these things. Again, I was really early. I probably still had some booze brain going on. What that means, when you look at a meeting on that app anyway, and it says open or close, what that means is an open meeting is open to the public. In other words, it's open to people in your life that may not be alcoholic, maybe a friend, maybe a family member, significant other. They may not have a problem with alcohol at all, but they're coming to support you. At the open meetings, they are welcome to attend. The closed meetings, however, are only for people who are in fact alcoholics. In other words, the non-alcoholics, maybe that wife or that spouse or that friend or significant other, maybe they're not alcoholics. Well, at the closed meetings, that's not a meeting for them. All right, so that's the difference between open and closed. There are different types of meetings. There's a speaker meeting, where a speaker meeting is where somebody gets up and pretty much shares their experience, strength, and hope, their own personal experiences for predominantly the whole entire hour. They have seen some crazy speaker meetings. I've seen some really awesome speaker meetings. I really like speaker meetings. I didn't like them at first, but I really like them now because it allows the speaker an opportunity to dive a little bit deeper into their story and to help cast a wider net for folks to maybe create that identification, to create that idea of, oh, I've been through something similar, and I want to use that to go to the next type of meeting, which is open discussion. See, in open discussion meetings, you can't really speak that long. You can only speak for 3, maybe 5 minutes or whatever. So the speaker meeting allows that speaker the opportunity to dive a little bit deeper into the story, where open discussion meetings, well, you don't have a whole lot of time to share because other people need to share. And that's the that's the thing with open discussion meetings. Typically in an open discussion format meeting, you'll have somebody bring up a topic, maybe a couple topics, and they'll open the floor. Some meetings, they will have you go around the room. Other meetings, they just open up the floor and you say, hi, my name is Drew. I'm an alcoholic, and this is what I think. I like both formats. For me personally, I think my favorite format is that open discussion format, because you never know who's going to speak. You never know who's going to share what, and there's really not there is really not a narrow guide, if you will, because I've seen those open discussion meetings where the topic has changed. It started over here and it ended up over here, and that's fair. Some meetings will allow that topic to change and evolve. Other meetings may not. They'll say stay on topic. That's up to them. There are men and women only meetings. So, and it could be in that format of, of speaker meeting or open discussion. There could be a men's only meeting. Drenda has her women's only meeting on Monday nights, and that can, again, take on many different shapes and sizes, if you will. There are crosstalk meetings. Crosstalk meetings are near and dear to my heart, and those meetings specifically Man, it's kind of a, we call it organized chaos. Let me say it like that. And the goal is to get multiple people all around the room, within the room, talking about the one topic and being able to converse. So I may be sharing something, and whenever I'm done speaking, somebody pipe up and say, "Hey, well, but Drew, you said this. What about that?" "Oh, you're right. Well, let me tell you about that." And the goal there is to stimulate and foster and nurture that freedom to have conversation, because our only goal in crosstalk meetings are to encourage folks to talk, to make people feel comfortable enough that they can speak up. Of course, we have our own they're not very too specific, but they're very condensed rule sets, and I actually call them rules, guidelines. They're things that we can. Sometimes we have to let those rules slip, or let those guidelines slip a little bit, because every scenario is different. I mean, we are talking about a room full of drunks and drug addicts. You can't have a boilerplate approach, even for crosstalk. We can have some general high level, but we have to be willing to allow those guidelines, if you will, those rules and guidelines, a little bit of leeway, because again, every situation is different. With Alcoholics Anonymous, they have the 12 traditions, and some folks can confuse the 12 traditions with the 12 steps. The 12 traditions did not get me sober. The 12 steps did. The 12 traditions are to the group, the AA group, what the 12 steps are to the AA individual. And there's a big difference there. Some folks I have seen where they get so wrapped up in 12 traditions, they actually say, well, these are the rules. Well, AA has made it abundantly clear on their website, and I'll try to post a link in the comments here, that they're not rules, and they're clearly, they call them guidelines. And again, the difference with the guidelines is you have to be able to have some leeway there. I myself had disagree with a lot of the AA traditions. I think they need to be updated. I think they are antiquated, but that's just my opinion. That doesn't mean everybody thinks that way. So for me personally, I understand and I respect the fact that traditions and guidelines are there. You have to have them there. I get that. But we also got to be careful not to marry ourselves, because I've seen more people turn away. I've seen a lot of people turn away from AA because of those traditions, because people are more interested in enforcing traditions that they don't have the authority to enforce. Last but not least, I want to point something out here. Just because you go to one meeting and you don't have a good experience at one meeting, you can't sit there and say that all these other meetings are the same. They're not. They're just not. Every meeting is different. Every meeting operates slightly differently. And the advice or the guidance I would share with you is find a meeting that works for you. Find a format that works for you. Find a group of people that works for you. And if you can't find one, start your own. It doesn't have to be in a VFW. It doesn't have to be in a church. It can be at the Waffle House. And I know I joke about that all the time, but it's true. I have meetings at the Waffle House. Aaron will tell you. I've had meetings at the freaking IHOP. You don't have to have a church or a VFW. It doesn't have to be something formal. The whole purpose of the meeting is just bring people together to sit down and talk about their common problems and share in their common solutions. So with that being said, I'll let you guys go. Thank you guys for letting me come in and share 5 to 10 minutes of your day with you. You guys absolutely keep me sober, and I cannot be any more appreciative. If there's a topic you'd like to hear discussed, feel free to drop it into an email, Drew, D-R-E-W, at recoveryclassroom.org. I'll take a look at it and see what we can do. We'll be talking again soon. Remember, guys, you can't get drunk if you don't take that first drink.